Discussions with a Nobody podcast. As I'm recording, it is Sunday night, February the 22nd, 2026. Hope you are doing well wherever you are. It's been a little bit since the last discussion, and I hope that since then, if you did listen to it, that you enjoyed it and shared it with your friends and let them hear that as well. I was going to record more here on the front end, but I had the chance to sit down with two of my best friends in the entire world to record this fuller, bigger discussion. It's all about Stranger Things. So I will just put a couple little disclaimers here at the start that if you have not yet watched through the show and through season 5 and the finale, you do not want to continue with this discussion until you have done that, because you will get spoiled on a lot of plot points and a lot of things. So make sure you do that before you check out the episode that follows. But I was very thankful for the first time to welcome my friends, my brothers, my podcast partners, Ryan and Matt, onto the show to discuss Stranger Things, our thoughts on the show, our thoughts on season 5, some unanswered questions, some what ifs, and then a 46 character in total, 46 character tournament to determine who was the best character from the world of Hawkins. So make sure you're following us on our social media. We're at the DWAN Pod on Twitter. We're Discussions with a Nobody on Facebook. You can find me at Big Jim Sports on Twitter and on Blue Sky as well. And with that, we take you to the world of Hawkins and to the world of Stranger Things. Enjoy. Welcome here. I am glad to have two of my best friends, and honestly, without them and their but repeated suggesting that I check out this show, we literally wouldn't be here talking about this. Normally talk with them about wrestling or music or concerts, food, anything else under the sun over on 3 Count Thursday. But proud to have Ryan and Matt with me on this journey through Hawkins. Ryan, how we doing this evening?
Hi, Jim. I'm okay. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Matt, how are you?
This is my first podcast.
It is your first. It's good to have you.
This is my first time on Discussions, I believe. But yeah, it's nice to be here. Nice to run down the show that we've all enjoyed and loved. I think Ryan and I really got to enjoy like reliving it when you were watching it for the first time, because you were like shouting out plot points. It was like, oh yeah, that's happened, and some big stuff's coming up next. So anxious to talk about the show now that it's over.
For sure. Now, did you guys both watch it like from the start?
I was late.
I was a day oneer.
Wow. Okay. So you went on the full 10-year journey. Matt, when did you start watching?
My wife and I started right before season 2 dropped. So we had heard all about it, and it was like, all right, it's early enough in 8 episodes to get in before this new season starts. Let's do it. And I mean, from episode 1, like the first 10 minutes, it like clicked. It's like, yeah, this, you always have that, like, is this going to live up to the hype situation when you revisit shows that, people talk about. But this one was one that instantly did it for me. And, so then, had to go through the long waits between 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, but didn't have to go through the one between 1 and 2 at least.
Yeah, like that. That's one thing I didn't live through, because I didn't start it until after season 4, between 4 and 5. Now I did watch it like a year ago, so like I guess it would have been the summer fall of 2024. So like I torched through the series, was updating you as I went along, and then it was like, wait, when does the new one drop? And you guys were like, next fall. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, that feels like a long time, but I guess it's always was like a multiple years between seasons. So I didn't quite get that full experience.
Yeah, I think 4 to 5 was the longest in between seasons. 4 and 5 was just a brutal wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was at day one. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, it is touching on nostalgia points. I've always liked the horror side. Yeah, man, it was great. I have the season 1, which was a really cool packaging on DVD. That came in like an old VHS looking box.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
And I think they did a season 2, and I'm sure I have it somewhere. I can't find it, but they had really cool packaging for those two, and then they stopped. Obviously, no one buys DVDs anymore, but there's still some physical collectors out there. But the season 1 packaging is really cool.
I have heard they're going to do the full series.
Oh, cool.
In some sort of a collector thing. So I will probably buy that when it comes out because, God forbid, something ever happens and Netflix ceases to exist. Like,
right.
I'll want to have this show because this is one like I will definitely watch it. I've watched it numerous times through already, including since in the 6 weeks since the finale because my wife had heard me talk about it, like radio show she listens to. Ryan and I have talked about it, and like I think the one day, like it was just days after the finale, and Ryan had dropped something off at our house, and we were talking about it, and like he leaves, and she's like, I think I want to watch Stranger Things, and I literally was like grabbing the remote, hitting the Netflix button. Like I wasn't gonna give her the option at that point to like maybe change her mind. I was like, it was on, so we watched it, binged it. I think in about 2.5, 3 weeks.
I think I want to doom.
Yeah, just already fires up like the music is starting. So yeah,
I have that effect on women.
Yeah, it's something that you have. So
Jim, can I ask? I don't know if we ever actually discussed this, but what did take you so long?
I think just kind
of be like that guy. Like I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I think like just hearing kind of about the premise of the show, and if I ever saw like any like videos or anything like online about it, even like the graphic, I thought it presented as more like horror, and I'm not a horror guy, so I was like, I should probably not try watching this because I figured it was like scarier. And like there was obviously moments in this show that had kind of some suspense and things like that, but there was nothing really horror. I mean, the Demogorgons are probably the most like horror thing about it, but yeah, it certainly wasn't anything like super scary because like same thing with Dana. She doesn't like scary horror things and like jump scares and stuff like that. So there is a couple of things that'll kind of pop up out of nowhere, and I kind of she was like, why didn't you warn me about them? I'm like, well, I can't warn you about everything that's coming. Like that does kind of ruin some of the aspect of the show. But yeah, so I think that's what kind of kept me for so long. But like you guys were just kind of like, it's not scary, it's really good, like you're gonna love it. And so finally, I think it was just one night, like in the summer of 24, that I was bored, nothing else to watch, and I was like on Netflix and I'm scrolling, and I was like, okay, it popped up. And I was like, well, let me just give the first episode a try. And if this doesn't grab me, and I think within like 15 minutes, I'd message you guys. I'm like, yep, I'm in.
Like, I remember being very excited when I got that, when you messaged the group and were like, I'm checking out Stranger Things. It's like, yes.
I think we tried selling it to you like, hey, man, like season 1, like growing up, man, kids on bikes. Like the nostalgia piece, it's going to scratch that itch. You're going to get it. And then season 2, we're like, dude, video games, man, like Dig Dug and these old
the
arcades, like you're going to fucking get it. And you're like, nah. And I'm like, man, the mall, like going to the mall, like this is it. And then it's like going to like the 4th of July festivals, and that's a huge thing. And like this is gonna do it, Jim. And we finally beat you down, or you were just bored enough one night.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of both. I'm like, okay, well, if I at least try it and I don't like it, then they won't have to bother me about this anymore.
I don't know how we would have sold you on season 5. Like the big spider thing, you're gonna love it.
Big spider, even like season 4, like scary mind games, a little bit anxiety inducing, and Russia. I'm like, what? Fuck, what?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Russia.
A lot of Russia. And that's one thing we'll talk about in a little bit. about some kind of like what ifs and kind of open-ended question things that I kind of still had. I was like, as I was watching through it with my wife, I'm like writing down things, and I'm like, man, I don't know if we ever got an answer to that, or like, what if this would have turned out differently, and how it would have changed further seasons of the show. But we're gonna really, the premise of this whole thing was, I think, Matt, you had sent like a graphic about like some of the there was like a tournament or something you had seen online of some of the actors and kind of the.
I think it was like just 16.
Yeah, it was like 16 of kind of like the supporting cast, and that kind of got our mind rolling of like, well, we should probably just do like a full on like character tournament. And then it got to like, okay, we're gonna do 32, and then like we got 32 down. It's like, well, you forgot this one, you forgot the, okay, well, 40, and then it turned into like 48. So we're gonna run the bracket, but before we do, we were talking about some of the seasons and our thought on the show. So just looking at season 5, because I think that's been like the most quote unquote controversial of the seasons, or maybe it just has appeared that way to me because it's the only one I've watched in real time. But there's a lot of strong opinions, and even now, 6 weeks later, I still see people with strong opinions on social media, and sometimes I'm like, did you actually watch this show? Because some of the takes I've seen, I'm like, I'm not sure you watched anything of this show, even the current season you're talking about. But your guys' thoughts on season 5? Did it do what you guys wanted it to do? Was it proper? Like, especially Ryan, we'll start with you. Like, you've been on the journey from the start. Like, did you enjoy season 5? Did it scratch the itch to close the thing out?
It did. I thought season 5 was fantastic. I really enjoyed. I really do think the sorcerer episode was the best episode of the entire series. That oh god, that was so well done. I guess the couple after that, which would have been the Thanksgiving release,
the Christmas release.
The Christmas release. Weren't the strongest episodes, but really set up the finale then on New Year's Eve night. Yeah, I don't have an issue with it at all. I think it put a bow nicely on. I mean, there are some gripes I guess you could make, like the actual fight with the Mind Flayer was time-wise relatively short. But I don't know how long you're going to go before the fight itself jumps the shark. You had,
right.
Not to get like, I guess, too far into it, but like you had 11 and Will fighting it simultaneously with other folks' exterior, like damaging the exterior of the Mind Flayer. So I don't know. Who am I to question that? I am of the belief that people that complain that they didn't kill enough people off are just choosing to believe 11's alive, but she's dead. They killed her off. So, like, how you can't kill a more main character than the main fucking character. So, that scratches that itch for me just fine. Yeah,
you are in the camp that 11 died.
Yeah, 11's dead. Yeah, and Mike was telling a story at the end because he's a storyteller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Matt, your thoughts on season 5, and if you think 11 is dead?
Yeah, similar opinion to Ryan. The first 4 episodes I thought were great. Episode 4 I thought was one of the best, probably a top 3 episode of the whole series for me, just because of what we were expecting. It really kind of set us up to really get excited for those next 3 that we're going to release. And then those next 3, it was a lot of storytelling and a lot of getting the pieces in place. So I think after how good 4 was, those 3 were a little bit of a letdown just because of that. But I wouldn't say they were bad episodes. It was just not. I thought that once we got to 4, we were going to get, home run after home run, and we were getting singles and doubles to get the runners in the scoring position instead. some sacrifice bunts along the way. So it was just more along the lines of, I expected them to go a lot harder than they did in those 3 episodes. But the finale I thought was great. I like the way it was wrapped up. I am in the camp that 11 did live, but is under the radar, because if she didn't, fake the death, then there was never going to be a life for 11. So, but at the same time, I think that is still a justifiable end to 11, because it was, she either dies or she becomes a lab experiment. And I think, whether this is Mike's wishful thinking or what actually happened, it's the only thing that could possibly happen to 11 that gives her any semblance of a happy ending. So either way, I was fine with the way they wrapped that up.
Yeah, I mean, there's I'm also in the camp that she lived. Watching it back through, so not only did I watch the full series again with my wife, but then we watched the documentary, The Making of Season 5, which made me want to watch Season 5 again. So then we also wanted to watch Season 3 again, because it's the best season of the show. So we watched 3 again and 5 again. And the third time I watched through Season 5, which also was simultaneously the fourth time I watched through the finale, because I did watch it. I went to the movie theater with Ryan, and then I watched it again after coming home. Ball drops, wife goes to bed, and I started the finale up again, because it also does present a little differently on a TV screen versus in a movie theater. So I wanted to see it kind of in that environment right away. But the last time I watched through it, I think like where she ends up, like in the area with the waterfalls, to me, that is the story part that Mike creates in his mind. Like, I think he realizes she got away, but has no clue where she is. Because obviously they can't know where she is, because, once the veil is lifted and the gates are gone and the government leaves Hawkins, like there's still, those people are probably still going to be monitored for the rest of their life, just in case, there's any sort of contact with 11 or anybody else that might have any sort of those like powers. So like ultimately I would think that, they just can't get in contact with her. I love the final season. And I think, for me, because it was the first time I've watched any season as everybody else is consuming them. It was really neat for me. Yes, episode 4 was fantastic. I look at like the Christmas episodes, the 3. I kind of look at those as like the first couple episodes in season 4, where it lays that foundation work for what's left, because season 4, it does that. Like those first couple episodes, like I thought I was going to lose my wife in like the first couple episodes. She's like just like glazed over, like not really into it. And I was just like, just hang with me, hang with the show, because it's soon going to get back. Everybody's going to get back together and it's going to feel a little bit more normal. But I'm like, all of this stuff that they're working on and they're doing is storyline framework for the rest of the show, which she then did admit. She's like, yeah, that does make sense. So, I mean, we obviously touched on how great the show was, and how much it's kind of meant to us. And like, is it definitely a show that like you guys will go back to at some point and probably watch through?
For sure. At least to, when my daughter is old enough, my wife and I were talking about like eventually watching that, because she heard us talking about it.
Oh, sure.
She saw the Stranger Things cereal. I gave her a few bowls of it begrudgingly, but so she's aware of like Stranger Things existence, and also aware that she's not ready for it. But I think that, similar to some of the other stuff we're slowly introducing her to, that will be a thing that I look forward to sitting and watching with her someday.
Yeah, I will absolutely watch it again. It's I would place it on my Mount Rushmore of shows. Like, it's had that much of an impact on me that I probably would put that up there. So yeah, any of the shows that I would put on like the top 4 shows for me of all time, and it can always change, but until it comes off of Mount Rushmore, if it ever does, it's absolutely in the rotation to watch again.
Yeah, it has made it into Mount Rushmore for me as well. And I mean, like I said, I've already watched, even after seeing it once through with my wife, like she's even said like she's going to want to go back and watch it again at some point. So yeah, I will absolutely do it. By the way, Ryan and I out in the wild, we did catch our Walmart in Ephrata, Pennsylvania had some Demogorgon Crunch still. Nice. So it's still out there if you're still getting
I think the Target the last time I was there in Lidditz had some still.
Did you guys both try it?
Oh yeah, I had bought a box, that and multiple bags of the Stranger Doritos, the ranch and pizza Doritos, prior to the fifth season starting. I mean, ultimately, it's basically waffle crisp with marshmallows. So if you ever feel the need to recreate it, that's how you can do it.
Yeah,
I probably would have enjoyed it. I saw it was like syrup flavored, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, if you liked waffle crisp, enough,
but if it's waffle crisp, I could have done it.
Yeah. It's
maybe I'll find a box.
Yeah, it's waffle crisp, and then you can get the dehydrated cereal marshmallows, and you could even make your own at home.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Before we get into the first part of the bracket, now the first one that we will do is the play-in round. So we have a bracket of 16 characters, and we will take the final two. So basically the ones that make it to the final matchup of this 16 character bracket to get into the big one, the 32 characters. But since we're kind of talking about the show and season 5 in particular, in the aftermath of the finale, there started to be this fan theory that there was a 9th episode, the Conformity Gate. I guess because people were either A, just not ready to let go, or B, that they expected more, or just didn't like the way they wrapped it up. Did either of you ever actually buy into Conformity Gate? Like, did you think that there was a chance that there was another episode coming?
0% chance that it ever was going to happen. That said, if they could have pulled that off,
right,
that would have been one of the greatest moments in television history. If you were able to publish and produce a finale, hold an episode back, thinking there was going to be enough backlash for an actual different finale, and then release that.
Yeah.
Would have been nuts.
Unreal.
Yeah. I was not in the camp that it existed, but part of me was like, I really kind of want it to be true.
Yeah.
Just because I'm just desperate to know what they would do. Because like Ryan said, I mean, most of the complaints of the finale are that not enough people died. And I get it, but we're coming from, the biggest shows recently were, your Game of Thrones and your Walking Dead, where major characters were being killed off consistently. And I mean, the Duffer Brothers even said, we are not that.
Right.
So while I understand why there was a lot of people wanting that, and I mean, we talked about, Hopper probably should have died after 3 when, in the mall scene, you knew he wasn't going to die again. Like,
right.
It didn't make a lot of sense when you looked at it for anyone but 11 and Steve potentially to die anyway. And maybe one of them did, depending on what side of the coin you're on with 11.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know that we necessarily needed to see anyone else. Anyone else that would have died would have probably just been a secondary character anyway. So it just kind of, it felt like that they were just needing more blood,
right?
Ultimately. But I mean, and if it came back and episode 9 was just a gore fest where, you do see Steve finally die, and 11, there's no what happened. It's just a clear as day sacrifice.
Right. Just absolutely gets throttled. Just multiple characters just getting wrecked. Like, man, like, and I feel like the people that wanted a different conclusion, like if that would have been the case, they would have been just as unhappy. Because I think to me, at least, a lot of the complaints I saw from people, it's they didn't like that there wasn't like a happy ending for like 11 and Mike. Because really, when you look at the end, like everybody else kind of they do have like a version of a happy life. Like, you know, Dustin goes to college, still hangs out with Steve. You know, Lucas and Max just end up like living a happy life together. Will moves on with his life and you know is finally able to be comfortable in his own skin. But like Mike's at home writing stories and he's lost like the love of his life, and the love of his life, like she goes to, you know, some form of a happy place where she's safe, but
that's called heaven, Jim. She goes to heaven.
Depending what you believe, she finds a happy place on Earth, or she's in the afterlife. And so those two are separated from each other, and Hawkins goes back to reality. I think that the saddest ending is like the four like adult, like older children, like that the scene on top of the radio station when they're like, you know, oh, we're going to get together once a month. Like everybody our age, we're watching that going, nobody's getting together every month. Yeah. Like you're going to see each other like maybe around like Christmas time when people like come back to like visit the like their family.
If they still have family in that area.
If they still have family, or like
who's hanging around Hawkins still.
Right, exactly. Steve, like because even Joyce and Hopper are, it sounds like, are on their way out. So like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and so like as an adult, you're like, oh, that's literally never happening. So yeah, like for Mike, it's like he you know, so I think people wanted a happy ending for him in 11, but again, there is no happy ending, regardless of how you believe she ends up. Like so yeah, I never bought into it. I also thought like, man, it'd be really cool if they could pull this off. I also think if they didn't do the massive media campaign and they hadn't released the final episode in theaters, because if it just comes out on New Year's Eve on Netflix, like nobody's paying money besides a Netflix subscription to watch it. You have thousands upon thousands of people going to movie theaters, and
they didn't buy a ticket, Jim. They bought a $10 food voucher for that.
You did. I mean, you did still spend money for it.
You did. Which they gave you a food voucher.
They did.
But also, like, how much of that was like the Duffer Brothers and Netflix pushing that versus fan outcry to local movie theaters? Like, hey, you've aired pay-per-view fights, you've aired, you know, wrestling pay-per-views. Can you get Stranger Things streaming on the big screen versus, you know, the Netflix execs planning a theatrical push for it?
Yeah, and I know like it aired in our local theater here in town, and when like it was first announced that it was happening, like our local theater will show, like they'll have like a section on their website of like upcoming events, and I didn't see it on there, so I reached out to them and I said, you know, are you going to be showing this? And they're like, yeah, tickets will go on sale. I think it was like the first Monday in December. So I logged on, and at that point there was one New Year's Eve showing and like two on New Year's Day. And the second they went on sale, I got in maybe like 2 minutes after they went on sale, and over half the theater was sold for the New Year's Eve show. Got our tickets. The first tickets I had selected, before I could finish checking out, they were already gone. So I had to like pick different seats in the theater. And then later that day, I think they ended up having like 4 showings on New Year's Eve, and I think like 10 or something on New Year's Day. So, and like they all sold out. So like it really did kind of become like this good, like, this good, you know, thing for movie theaters. And I'm sure other places probably did the same, especially if they're a more independent theater, because you have the ability to just like, this whole wing of the theater is going to be Stranger Things. Who else is going to the movie theater at, you know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock on New Year's Eve? So, yeah, it
was perfect for the theater too. Like it was, if you didn't watch it on the big screen, I wish you would have been able to, because it translated so well to the big screen. Like it was a mini movie.
Yeah.
From the fights, I mean, the entire thing, like hearing Prince come on, like it was just
hearing people gasp at different, like the point when like Steve almost falls off the tower. Like everybody was like no, like
when
so
Derek like gave his middle finger and was like suck my balls or whatever he said, or
suck a fat one,
whatever, suck a fat whatever it was. Yeah, everybody was like, yeah, that's Derek. That's the Derek we love. Like it was cool to watch it with other fans, and it was probably cool, Jim, because we were in the original showing. Like there was just going to be that one showing, so the people that bought tickets to that were absolutely dedicated fans to that. Not that you weren't if you didn't buy other tickets, but like that was like a special group that. And I wanted those tickets.
Yeah, and I wanted my first time seeing it to be like, once I knew that it was going to be in theaters, like I made up my mind I'm going to see it there. Because I want my first of what will be many viewings. And like I said, in the last 6 weeks, I've seen the episode 4 times. I wanted that to be in the theater. And I think the thing for the Conformity Gate stuff, I think people they had such a hard time saying goodbye to this show, that whether it's, 2 years of their life like me, 8 years of their life like Matt, all 10 years like you, Ryan. I think people just had a hard time saying goodbye to it.
Are we just going to not pretend we heard somebody running off in the background? You guys heard that, right?
I did hear that. Was that it was
my phone.
Gotcha.
Oh. I thought you had your soundboard up, Jim, and I was like,
No, I did. It was a Demogorgon. We're all screwed.
Is that what it was?
All right, let's dive into the first set of the brackets here. And we do have our play in. There we go. I got it up. Oh no, that's the full one. I removed the wrong one. Let me get, just so you guys can see it here. I mean, we're not doing a video show, but just so you guys see the
that'll be helpful.
The bracket itself. So we have a series of kind of smaller secondary characters that, like I said, the last two, the ones that make it to the final matchup, those will be the two that get transferred over to our main bracket. So we'll start here with the number 1 seed versus the number 16 seed, Barb, R.I.P., taking on Keith. So we'll go Ryan, Matt, and then I'll give mine.
Yeah, Keith, what a goofy looking bastard. I'm gonna have to go. Oh, Barb.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, this is an easy Barb Holland pick for me. May she rest in peace.
Yep. And that's the thing, like we're talking about, like character deaths. Like, I mean, over the course of the series, like for her, she felt kind of main character-ish at the time, even though it was pretty early in the show. But then it was more like the secondary characters that passed away. So we'll go then we'll stay on the left side of the bracket here. Jason Carver, do not rest in peace. Taking on Chrissy, rest in peace. Ryan.
Chrissy was the first death, I think, in season 4.
Yes.
And we probably got one of the greatest lines uttered from the whole thing, from what's his name, calling out to Chrissy.
From Eddie.
From Eddie.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to be Chrissy here.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me because Jason Carver is such a good secondary villain for the show. I mean, he's that guy you love to hate so much. He played it well. But Chrissy, there was just a ton of depth with that character. The relationship with Eddie, the catalyst then for the whole Hellfire Club being like in the crosshairs for so many people. And, it seemed like the only time she was really even happy on the show was with Eddie. And really the only time he was kind of happy besides, being able to hang out with Dustin on occasion. So I'm also going to choose Chrissy here.
Yeah, Jason. I mean, we've all had a Jason. We've all known a Jason. Yeah. But Chrissy, it was such a, again, I think her death was the end of the first episode of season 4. But what that character meant carried through the entire season. And really, in a way, all the way up till the end of the show, because those things from season 4 did hold through the final. So next one, the number 4-13 matchup, the 4 seed Lieutenant Colonel Jack Sullivan taking on the police receptionist Florence or Flo. Ryan.
Oh, Flo, she was so sassy. I love Flo.
Flo is great.
Boy, she didn't do a whole lot though. For this, we're gonna go Lieutenant Colonel Jack Sullivan.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, he. I think Jack Sullivan at least carried the storyline along in a few instances where, like Ryan said with Flo, it's just kind of like background scenery almost.
I mean, she delivered the Miami Vice shirt to Hopper, and
that's true.
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation. I probably would have voted Flo if if the tiebreaker would have gotten to me. Yeah, Jack obviously had more consequence to the show, especially in the later parts. But man, Flo was great. Two absolute scumbags. The 5-13 matchup here. Lonnie Byers taking on Lieutenant Robert Akers.
The way I felt when Robert Akers' character died, when he died, was so good. He played that role so well because, God, I hated him, and I was so happy to see him perish. So it's going to have to be Lieutenant Robert Akers.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I hated both of these guys so much. Lonnie was just such an asshole. And it's just like you can't find like a single redeeming quality of him aside from that he was the donor to create Will and Jonathan. That's really
literally all. That's literally it.
But yeah, I mean, like the satisfying moment with Lonnie is just when he gets the boot, right? That's all there is to it.
Get out. We never see or hear from him again.
Right. And like what Ryan said, when Akers' time finally came out, man, that was just such a pleasure to watch. So
yeah,
because of that, I'm going to choose Akers.
Right. Because Lonnie, he gets chased out and you're like, maybe he'll reappear someday. But man, just watching that slow hand turn for Akers, man. Goodbye, good riddance.
Cinema.
It's absolute cinema. All right, staying on this side in the next round, we have Barb versus Chrissy.
I'm gonna go Chrissy here.
Ooh, okay.
I think I'm also going Chrissy. This is probably I came in thinking that Barb was going to be going into the main bracket, but the more I think about it, the importance of Chrissy's death is so much bigger than the importance of Barb's. I guess we can say that Barb's death kind of lights a fire in Nancy and gets her to the badass that she becomes, but the storylines that we got because Chrissy dies and the whole Hellfire Club, like Ryan said, that carries over into season 5 too. It doesn't just go away when Eddie goes away. I think Chrissy's a more important death than Barb's.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I all valid. And yeah, I mean, Barb's felt so very important early on, but by the end, I mean, I think you saw her name on the memorial plaque, but it,
right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like a feature point. Really by the end, I think maybe when there was a point where Henry was talking to Nancy, I think it would have been towards the end of season 4. You kind of get that playback again. But yeah, it was I probably would have went Barb, but man, Chrissy very important, of course.
Let me ask you this, Jim, because you've watched the 5 finale more than Ryan and I have.
Mm-hmm.
During the scene where Joyce is chopping and it's showing everyone and the importance of her finally beheading, was Barb in that scene?
Yeah, I think okay. Barb was shown before, as Nancy's reason.
Right. I couldn't remember for sure if she was there for Nancy or if Nancy was just envisioning all of the horror done on her own family.
Right. My God, yeah, just that the Wheeler family. My goodness. But yeah, I think Barb was shown there as well. All right, so we got Sullivan versus Akers.
I'm gonna have to keep Akers simply for the death. Again, that
All right.
I don't know if either of you guys are Game of Thrones characters, but there were deaths in Game of Thrones where you're just like, fucking finally. Like, thank you. And that was Acres for.
I think there was an audible cheer in the theater when he got popped. Like, there was like people were celebrating. There's a couple of claps. Like, it was a great moment for everybody. Yeah. And then we got to close out this side of the bracket and to move on to the main, we have Chrissy versus Acres.
Wake up, Chrissy. I'm gonna go Chrissy.
All right, Matt.
I also am. As satisfying as that death is, I think we've kind of the past 2 rounds discussed just how important Chrissy was, and which is wild to say for a character that was on screen for like a cup of coffee.
Right, maybe 25 minutes of the first episode of season 4.
Right, but like so much happened in 4 and 5 because of that. That's like that. She has to be included.
I mean, she was also set up to be an antagonist, correct? Like, she was not one of the good guys, but had that human aspect to her where you could relate and be like, oh, okay, maybe she wasn't as an antagonist as I thought she was. And she was human and battling shit herself.
Right.
Like, I had her pegged wrong originally.
Right.
And that makes me like appreciate her. So easy to cheer for somebody like her and realize the impact of her death. And again, boy, did I love seeing Acres die. Like, that was
because I mean, I think that the beginning of that first episode, like, you know, the basketball team comes on the court and like Jason was like, Chrissy, love you, babe. And you're like, oh, this is just that douchebag couple that like you remember from high school that you absolutely hate. And then like very quickly, you know, when she's being haunted and this and that, you're going like, oh, there's more to her. So she's like an antagonist from the jump, but then she becomes sympathetic. So there's a lot of weight in that character. All right, let's go to
Jason, she has some redeeming qualities.
Let's go to the other side. The 215 matchup. We have Victor Creel taking on Vicky Dunn.
Never was a big fan of Vicky. I'm going to go Victor here.
All right, Matt.
I hate Vicky so much. That the only thing that like the people clamoring for deaths, I was mad that Vicky survived.
Yeah. She could have eaten it. Like the Demogorgon could have just ripped her face off in the hospital, and we would have.
Don't ask for much here.
Yeah,
give me Vicky dying in a horrible fashion.
Right, or maybe like she like went over like in the laundry room scene. Like when like to like check on the Demogorgons when the oxygen tank exploded, like she takes a shrapnel to the jugular.
I'd been fine with any of that.
Yeah, she
like she goes to check on the wounded Demogorgon and eats her before like
just
finishes one off with the shotgun
or just got hit by a bus, like literally anything. I'd have been fine with.
Like a tray of needles falls over on
the anything.
like on graduation day, like she's crossing the street and a school bus hits her. Like it's the one tragedy of that day.
Dustin's confetti malfunctions and
just takes her out.
Anything.
All right. The 7-10 matchup, we have Dmitry Antonov or Enzo taking on Susie.
Boy, we really like Final Destination that got dark there.
We did. It did.
I apologize.
That's a lot of therapy. We just didn't like Vicky.
That felt good. Right behind Vicky of characters I didn't care about is the bitch Susie. What a dumb arc. I hated it. I hated the song, the never ending story. It can kiss my ass. I'm going with Enzo here.
All right, Matt.
I love the movie Never Ending Story. It is one of my childhood favorites. And when we were making the list, I struggled to even remember who Enzo was, like when he was thrown out there. So I'm going to vote Susie on this one.
Ooh, our first like dissension, my first actual tie break. And I'm going Susie. I love the never ending story scene. And I love it more because watching everybody who's hearing it react to it, especially Joyce. Like if you watch that scene
Yep.
And like everybody, Murray and Hopper and everybody else, just like, what is happening? And Joyce is like banging her head on the wall. Like she's the one who's like the most like understanding of the kids, and she's in a fucking mall basement trying to not get killed by Russians, and she has to listen to two kids singing a stupid song. She's just like, get us this code so we can end this bullshit. And in hindsight, she was right, because had the kids not sung that song, Hopper would have never ended up in prison, because they could have just shut down the thing, gotten out of there. Russians would have never gotten them. But yeah, so I did love that scene.
The real antagonist, Susie. Set up all of season 5.
Yeah. The 314 matchup, Terry Ives or Mama taking on Yuri from season 4.
Yeah, I don't know. Mama didn't do a whole lot, did she? I'm gonna go Yuri. Yuri was a great kind of I guess he added some comedy in some moments. So I'll go Yuri.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I think Yuri gives you some of the biggest laughs of the show, and it's not like this is a feel good show where you're expecting that often. So, for that reason, I'll take Yuri.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there was like that one episode in season 3 where or season 2 or 3 where like Mama was a huge plot point, but besides that, it was like, she was there, she was a thing. Yuri, a good comedy foil in a Russian prison season. So, and then the last one, the 6-11 matchup, Dr. K, of course, from season 5, taking on Tom Holloway from season 3, the head of the paper.
Oh, that's who Tom Holloway was.
Yeah,
that asshole that always was a dick to Nancy.
Yeah, he was.
They were definitely a dick to Nancy, and what's her face's dad.
I forgot who that was, so I'm gonna have to go with Dr. K.
That's fair, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, the importance of a role to have Linda Hamilton there, I think, just kind of speaks to why Dr. K should be moving on over Tom Holloway. Again, another lovable villain, but that unfortunately they haven't fared well in our bracket.
No, they
single one of them.
They certainly have not. And
to the next round.
And Linda Hamilton holding off. I think I heard she had to have like a hip operation, but held off on it just to play this part. So good on her.
Yeah.
All right. Victor Creel taking on Susie.
Yeah, as a fan of horror, and I feel like I'm punching uphill here, I'm gonna have to go Victor Creel.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, in this instance, I will agree on that front. I liked Susie to make it past Enzo, but beyond the never-ending story song, there wasn't much to her. Like, she has a weird family that you see.
Yeah, she helps out. She helps out like getting a dress or something,
right?
In season 4, and then it just disappears.
Yeah, that's the extent of the run. I'll have to vote for Victor Creel here.
All right, and then Yuri versus Dr. K.
For as important of a role it was for Hamilton to come in, I don't think she's really just did a ton. Where Yuri, didn't do a ton either, I guess, but was a bit of comedy relief, was a bit of a foil to sell them out, things of that
did
nature.
Fly away the getaway chopper though.
He did. Yeah, I'll go Yuri.
Yeah, it almost feels like there was a lot of meat on the bone with Dr. K that was like left on the cutting room floor, or just like, cause I mean, I know Jim, you said you did. Ryan, did you also watch the documentary?
I did.
Like, it seemed like they, even going into the finale, were like, well, what are we doing with this here? And it's probably like where they had a lot of like Dr. K storylines and just ultimately shifted away from them. She was just kind of there. So again, big fan of Linda Hamilton. Thank you for all you did in Terminator, but this is where we see Yuri move on.
All right. And then to advance to the main bracket, it'll be Victor Creel versus Yuri.
boy, without Victor Creel, we don't get the backstory and the lineage of what Vecna becomes. I think Henry was ultimately the one that put Victor Creel kind of away. Again, Robert Englund, what a great cast for that role.
I'm going
to go Victor Creel.
All right, Matt.
Yep, likewise. I think that we have Victor Creel as the 2 seeds, and I think that again, Yuri, the comic relief. I appreciate bringing some laughs to a show that is not in line with that, more in the sci-fi suspense space, and you need that at times. But in the long run, Victor Creel a much more important character.
Yeah, so Victor and Chrissy do move on to the main bracket, and
look at Chrissy Cunningham.
Look at her. That surprised me. It doesn't surprise me that Victor made it, but I would have thought maybe Barb. Part of me kind of almost thought that that Jason or Jack Sullivan could have come out of this one, just because
the 9 seed. What a Cinderella
look
story
at her.
there.
Look at that. March Madness is get those Cinderella bets in. Maybe we're kicking that off. Before we get to the main bracket, now we'll look at kind of some like unanswered and what if questions. Just some things that I wrote down. So some of them like might just be a quick, probably nothing. That there could just be real no answer to these. But the only other thing I forgot to bring up in regards to is 11 alive or not. There's an interesting detail that can't be accidental. Now, whether it means that the Duffer brothers like are tipping a hand anyway, because there's been reports that like them and Millie Bobby Brown are the only 3 people who actually know 11's true fate. But when the finale closes, it's Peter Gabriel's version of Heroes that is used. That song was only used 2 other times over the course of the show. It was in season 1, the episode where the body was found in the quarry that we thought was Will, but Will was still alive. And then at the end of season 3, when we believed Hopper to have perished, and then he didn't. So it's just kind of an interesting use. So for people that believe 11 is dead, it could just be a strange coincidence. For people that believe she's alive, you're like, see, they're telling us she's alive. But
you just grasp onto that, don't you, Jim?
You got to find hope, Brian.
You want to hope, because you watch the documentary, right? And you watch the documentary. The Duffer brothers tell you that Collie's injury was bad enough that she died, so she couldn't have been alive to have helped 11 to cast that at the end. Because
I did.
In the documentary, the Duffer brothers told you that Callie's dead.
But maybe their Chat GPT told them to say that.
Maybe.
All right, so just kind of some unanswered questions or things I might not be sure about. I feel like the only character that was missing from season 5 was Sam Owens, Paul Reiser's character. Like, because he didn't die at the end of season 4 when the government comes to the facility in the desert. And I feel like him just being kind of cut off and ended. I'm like, what happened? Do you guys feel like he was missing, or did you feel like they wrapped him up properly at the end of 4?
I wouldn't say he was wrapped up properly. I feel like he's what they probably meant to do with Dr. K.
Oh,
like maybe. If you had just taken Linda Hamilton out and put Paul Reiser back in, like they could do the same job, right?
Well, yeah, and because like I always kind of thought like that he, like I know he like befriended 11 and was like, we're looking out for you, and he was like the good cop to Dr. Brenner's bad cop, but like he was complicit with everything Brenner was doing. So like if he would have been the Dr. K once Papa was dead, that wouldn't have surprised me at all. Like if he just kind of took over because he knew the history and he was part of it. Like he could have just been that guy. I mean, I'm glad we got a Linda Hamilton, you know, in season 5, but I'm like that could have been Owens.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair question. Like what happened to him? Why was he just kind of unceremoniously gone the next season? And maybe it was just a contract thing, money thing, who knows? But yeah, I think that's a fair question. And I think that's potentially a missed opportunity of like having him be this nice guy the whole time, and then season 5 he's now enemy number 1.
Yeah. Ryan?
Yeah, because I don't recall, like, he wasn't put in a situation where he would have died, was he? Like that it wasn't like maybe he's dead, maybe he's alive.
They like handcuffed him in the office, like in like his office in like the underground bunker, but like Sullivan and him have a conversation of like, you need to tell us where the girl is, and we'll like, and when he did, like it was, at least in my opinion, like it was presented as if they let him live when he gave up the information.
Right. I guess in a situation like that, if they get the information they need, they could have just
killed him anyway.
I feel like there are instances where this becomes a bit of a choose your own adventure, much like a D&D campaign.
Sure.
It's a bit hokey to try to apply that here, but if you want to apply that logic, if you think he's alive, you think he's alive. If you think he's alive, I don't know why he wouldn't have appeared in season 5 in some way, shape, or form.
Maybe that's why I'm like confused why he was never there.
Maybe he did die then. Maybe they just got the information they needed and
they just left him in the bunker and let him rot to death.
Right. That could be, or they just killed him at spot. Like he's no longer useful to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something to be mad about, I guess.
You know, at the end of season 4, we'd see this very kind of apocalyptic scene where, you know, this kind of darkness is falling on Hawkins, and plants are dying, and this dark cloud is hanging over, and then like season 5 begins, obviously, or maybe a couple of years later, the cracks from the earthquake are covered over, and people are living, but just inside this world. Like, I wish something would have been explained how a little bit better, as opposed to just like, we put these plates over the ground. Like how did the vegetation not continue to die? What happened to the dark? Did the dark clouds just go away? Like, or was that like, because it wasn't even like those were, so sometimes like Will would see things that other people didn't, but like everybody saw those. Like it was evident at the end of season 4, like people know, like I thought we were just going to like start season 5 and you're in this battle world, and we weren't there. So like, it's just like, man, what happened that made everything go back to quasi normal?
I guess you can choose your own adventure.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like
there may not be an answer
that they're going to always use, but like, we needed to advance to a graduation and an age. So why would you film? I guess, yeah, years in between. I guess you just fill in that or nothing. You just kind of, hey, we had this crazy shit happen, and we're gonna build back from it, and we'll eventually just forget it happened. Sure. I mean, it happens here in like in our life.
Yeah.
This is kind of what happens.
I mean, it happened at the end of season 5 because everybody literally murdered the government, and Hopper gets to still be a cop.
Right? It's like what?
Yeah, it's the Men in Black theory. Just
like, I guess
hit the button, the flashlights. Everyone.
Well, I guess we're done here, so we can move on. In one of the episodes of season 5. There's the Henry memory, and you see the Oklahoma cast. You know, the Mrs. Wheeler and Joyce, and I know there was a lot of hypothesizing of what that was going to be. I think that is that the Broadway show? I think that's because that's like a prequel thing, right?
From that,
yeah. So maybe that'll be explained a little better there. We did kind of get a little bit of a glimpse of that, at least that a little bit of the theater show in the final episode, because they used that to get to Henry. I know, like, there was seemingly some like continuity errors in season 5. So they have the like the shed at the radio station where they have like the voltmeter that they have to turn the power off in the first episode so Steve and Jonathan can climb the tower. They turned off and on the power so they could electrify, reactivate the Demogorgon. In episode 1, the thing is gray. In the later in the season, it's red. And I know people have, like, again, it's kind of a choose your own adventure. Like, are we in Henry's memory? Is this all just a memory that it's a different color, or is it literally maybe just they were filming this part months before, and then they come back to film the end, and it just happened to be red? Like, did you guys think anything of that?
I didn't catch that.
I also didn't, yeah.
But parts of the documentary, like I know specifically the moment, like after the Demogorgon attack with, what the hell was her, with the mom? With the,
Karen.
Karen, yeah. Like the attention that they were putting into like Karen running, and then the stunt double running and falling, and then Karen's like arms and legs like exactly in the same position that the stunt double ended up falling into, like the attention to detail there. It seems wild to me that they would miss a giant thing that they physically move.
Right, like and they zoom in on it. Yeah.
So that seems weird that they would make that big of a miss unless it's intentionally done. And I feel like there's a lot of Easter eggs intentionally done throughout, and we probably haven't picked up on half of truly of all of them, and maybe we have, I don't know, but that seems like a really big oops if that was not intentional.
And the only other kind of unanswered and kind of why did this happen this way, but when Will is a sorcerer, obviously when 11 uses her powers, when you in season 4, when you see kind of the flashbacks to all of the kids at the lab, their left nostril bleeds, or there's instances where both of Elle's nostrils bleed. But in season 5, where Callie is showing 11 like what her future would be if she doesn't perish, Callie's right nostril bleeds, and I'm like, is that? Was she actually like working with the government? Like was she like actually compromised? Was like Hopper's uneasiness about her, was he justified in that? Like, because it was just like, man, I feel like that's a detail you probably don't like. That we don't find out why, but that has to be intentional.
I guess we'd have to go back and watch the sister episode to see what nostril
it was
Callie
her left. It was her left.
Was the left?
Yeah.
It was her left in that one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they were moving like train equipment and shit, right? Okay, so it is confirmed that was her left.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, yeah, that seems odd.
Right.
Yeah, right. Seems like a missed, like, and I've seen like there's like some color stuff in the final episode that people were like, oh, well, this was green and it should have been orange type of situation. And it might have just been one of those things where they just overlooked it. But I mean, in a show that they've always been so detailed, it seems like they were hinting at something.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the Duffers at the end of the entire series,
right?
They closed the book on the Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons,
right,
as if it was just all one giant
campaign,
and the book is closing. So Mike is this master storyteller. Maybe Mike's telling this. I mean, that was, I think, a big issue. Everybody's like, oh, I hope it's not just a Dungeons and Dragons game. or just all
might
like
have been.
He wakes up and it was just a dream. But literally, the last episode before they cut to the credits was the book closing on the Dungeons and Dragons Stranger Things game.
And if you go back and watch it, if you notice, the dice is a 7, which is what Will said he rolled in the very first episode. And also, and I noticed this when I did the rewatch with Dana in episode 1, when like Will's getting ready to leave Mike's house, and he's like, "Hey, it was a 7. The Demogorgon got me. The lights in the garage flicker."
Ooh.
So like they were telling you things from the jump, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. So maybe like an unreliable narrator type thing of just Mike fucking up the story. To go back to that final D&D scene, and I can't remember if the three of us discussed this or if this came up in another chat of just kind of the members of that final D&D scene. Like, did Max ever play with them? Was that a conversation that we've had of like, why was she there? And also, why was Erica not with Holly's friends? Because they're the same age, right? And Erica loves D&D. Like, it feels like she was missing from that game.
I think
that Holly and them were then playing.
I think Erica was between like the kids' age and like Holly's friends, because like Holly's friends I think were in like late elementary school, I think. And
okay, you're right, because
like Erica was like in junior high or like 9th grade or something.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. Okay,
but I was a little bit surprised she wasn't actually there, like playing the game with them with Matt. But I get she was more of a secondary character to that core group, so it made sense. But
sure, I mean,
also Erica's a fucking bitch. Who wants to play games?
Right.
Older folks.
Well, and for Lucas, like, who wants to hang out with your little sister the night you just graduated high school?
Right. For sure, but I mean, how many people in Hawkins, Indiana, knew and played D&D? Because Erica definitely did.
Right. I think there was
played Dungeons and Dragons.
Never.
I never have. No.
Never have either. Not a clue.
There was a point where I like Lucas was trying to get Max into playing it, and I think early in her character she was like, no, absolutely not. But like maybe she was just there because they all graduated, and like, and I guess probably just because like Mike in his story, you know, they grow up to remain together, so she just kind of had to be there for it. But yeah, I like her actually playing D&D, like if you really think about it, doesn't quite track because it's dorky.
I mean, did
but
they really play D&D outside of season 1? Because she was introduced in season 2.
Well, the Hellfire Club, of course, was D&D. But then, like, so like season 3, they really didn't.
But Hellfire Club, like that was that? I guess that was all of them, right? It was more Dustin.
Yeah, like Lucas was in it, but then he chose to go to the basketball games. That's how Erica, because they had given Erica, Will had given Erica his game, so she got into it. But yeah, there wasn't.
They were kind of playing it too as like a code thing.
Yeah, they were using the characters as part of like it's like kind of secret language sort of a thing.
Yeah.
It's just a couple kind of like what ifs. Like Matt, I think you even mentioned it here. Had said like we all kind of thought Hopper should have died. I think the original plan, from like what I've understood, is that like they had written him off as dying, but then seeing kind of people's reaction to it, they decided to write him back in. How do you think the final 2 seasons would have played out differently if Hopper had indeed died? Like, would have 11 just, I guess, lived with the Byerses?
Yeah,
I think that's what would have happened.
Yeah, and I mean, there were storylines that you could have built out. Like, obviously, they came back to help Hopper in 4.
Right.
But, I mean, you easily could have had them come back to help Mike.
Right. Like, they knew Hawkins was in danger. They come... And
so
they would have had him die after season 3.
Yeah, so when the thing explodes, he just
explodes and he's gone, and you get the send off. Like, he writes the letter to 11.
Yeah, I think that would have been perfect. Like, that really would have been a perfect ending.
That was when it should have been done, and that's what kind of ruined it then for the rest of the series, because you know they're not going to just kill him off after they've already brought him back once. Right. Like, what's the point at that point? Like,
he's cheated death already.
At the same time, I feel like the show would have been able to get away with that if they really wanted to bring him back and then just kill him in an episode, like any random. And I think that's the problem and the gripe some people had, is they could have pulled the trigger at any time with any of these characters. These are fucking middle school and high school kids going into an alternative universe, and they're coming out with a scratch,
right?
Yeah. Fighting like plant-shaped things with thousands of teeth,
right?
Running around like no one's getting hurt.
Right.
Well, aside from, trained military professionals.
Well, that's true. Right. Zoinks!
Right. There was a lot of suspending of this, suspending your beliefs throughout it.
It's a sci-fi show. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean that's any teen slasher flick is, the police always die, but the 17-year-old
pesky little children do not.
Right.
They can outsmart him, but a grown adult can't. Like, yeah. And that's like one of the things I think I've even said to like a couple of people, and like, I'm just like, it's a TV show. Like, you can't totally apply logic to these things, because first off, like, even the alternative universe with Demogorgons and a stone that embeds itself in a guy's hand that turns him evil, like,
what?
Like, if you're already locked into that, you're locked into this isn't real. So just go for the ride, please.
Right. On our other podcast, I mean, we talk about guys throwing haymakers and hitting each other with chairs.
Right.
Like, you have to just suspend some belief.
Right. I think our biggest joke in wrestling is like, how do you stop an Irish whip? Just don't run. But but like, if I try like throwing you 20 feet across the room, it's not going to work, because once you get out of my grip, you're just not going to run. Like, so you have to suspend disbelief. And so not necessarily like a what if, but like, and this would have involved so much more filming for really no reason, but I would have loved to have seen two different like alternate endings to the show. So like, if Vecna Henry had actually won the final battle, what does like the colliding of the worlds and Vecna and Henry's vision of the new world, like what does that actually look like?
Jim, I don't know, but I know New World is for life.
It is.
Probably pretty similar to Thanos' plan to snap half of existence out of reality.
Yeah, like, it's just like,
see a lot of people flutter away.
Yeah, like does it like just collide, and like, so does Hawkins, Indiana, just get blown off the map, and this underworld that just becomes New Hawkins, and like it, like I would have loved to have seen that. And then also when in the final episode, when Will is like communicating with Henry, like in the scene where Henry's watching like himself become like one with the Mind Flayer, and there was that moment, which I'm glad it didn't actually happen in the episode, because I'm like, man, if we've gone through this entire 2-season journey for this motherfucker to get a redemption arc in the 11th hour, I'm going to be pissed. But like, right. I think it would be kind of cool to see what would have happened if like Will's talking to Henry and like, you don't have to be this. Like you can still get out. Like what happens if he, like, I guess he just kills the Mind Flayer, and then he's just part of the happy world at the end. I get, but I
guess he's just up there battling giant spider Mind Flayer.
I guess, yeah. And the fight scene would have been,
which would look so weird, like seeing Nancy
and all of them fight along with
shotguns, and Vecna's just like, pow, 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 like, right, what the fuck is he gonna? or his little go-go gadget arm.
Goes right into the little heart thing and just
right.
It's all
there it is.
It's all over. He lets the kids go.
The fight scene would have been half the time.
Yeah, it would have been 3 minutes. Pissed. Everybody would have been pissed. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't get that redemption arc for sure. But I'm sure if/when I watch the show again, I will think of other things. But let's get into the main bracket. We'll go into the to the Will Byers region. So 32 characters broken up into 4 8 character regions here. We'll start with the 1-8 matchup. It is Will Byers taking on Alexi. Oh, Alexi. Ryan, go ahead.
This one breaks my heart. Alexi's death was so sad.
Oh.
I loved that character, but you don't have a Stranger Things without the disappearing of Will Byers on November 6th, 1983. Happens to be my birthday, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
I have to go Will Byers.
All right, Matt.
Yeah. And admittedly, Will is my least favorite of the 4 core guys that, we'll probably be talking about. And as much as I would love to vote for Alexi here, because that was just a grueling finish and taking him out. I mean, another bright spot in a show that didn't have a ton of feel good, bright stories. Alexi was that for you, but I mean, it has to be Will Byers.
Yeah, definitely has to be Will. I think because the 3 of us going into, I don't remember if I think it was going into the first set of the final season, we were like, Will can probably die. And then, of course, we saw episode 4 and we're like, boy, glad he didn't die because that we did not see episode 4 coming. But Will moves on here. Next one, the 4-5 matchup in this region, 11 or Jane taking on Erica.
How does 11 get ranked 4th?
Well, because I think so. We had done each bracket got one of the kids, and then the next
one of the adults, and then
it was like one of the
teens.
Older kids.
Yeah,
gotcha, and then it got to the rest of the characters. So she was the highest
of the
ranked. Once we got through those, must be in.
That said, 11.
Yeah. Matt.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to make a case for Erica. This is 11.
yeah. This one pretty easily. Next one, the 3-6 matchup here. Nancy Wheeler taking on the Demogorgon. A tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time, really is. I'm gonna go Demogorgon here.
Ooh, okay.
I love Nancy's character. I really did. And it filled a lot of dead space with who she's trying to mac with this week. But boy, the Demogorgon, what a visually stunning character. I'll go Demogorgon.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, this is tough for me because I do love Nancy. I love the character development going from the shy nerd to the girl exploring, her sexuality to the badass who was gunning down trained military personnel. By the time we get to the end of it, the flamethrowers. I love the commercial she does too. With
the MasterCard.
Yeah. The Demogorgon though is the antagonist to me. It has always felt that. I know it's technically Vecna and we have our secondary, but the Demogorgon has been what is the most prevalent.
Yeah, from the beginning.
But I still have to choose Nancy.
Ooh, okay.
I see the argument either way, and I'm not upset if Demogorgon advances.
No, and I'm not upset if Nancy advances, to be very clear. She a fantastic growth in character from 1 through 5.
I'm gonna put that on Jim though.
Yeah, this is a much harder matchup than it really.
He's the host after all. So
I am the host after all. If this would have been
just a nobody,
if this would be Jonathan or Robin, it would be Demogorgon. But Nancy is such a badass, and the development of that character is top notch. So I will go Nancy here, but it is very close. And then the last one in the first round in this bracket, Jim Hopper taking on Derek Turnbow.
Derek Turnbow, a character so protected he had to have a stunt double just run for him. Hopper should have died 2 seasons ago. I'm going to go Derek.
Oh, man. Matt.
I love the reformed villain, and I will vote in this way moving forward. And dipshit Derek falls into that reformed villain category so easily, but there is no way I can vote against Hopper. And I agree, he should have died in season 3. I will pound that table along with you, Ryan, but not enough to say that dipshit Derek should advance ahead of him.
Derek is so great, and there's that scene in the final episode where he's running, and poor little chubby kid is running out of breath, and I leaned over to Ryan, and I leaned over to Ryan, and I go, "Boy, this is a realistic character. We've been there." I love Derek. I love that. Yeah, like he went from being this like little bully, and then he was the kid that saved the day.
Running from the cave, you're absolutely right. Running from the cave, that's you and I.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go, save yourself.
Yeah, just like I'm fat, I'm dead. This was bound to happen.
I've accepted this now.
I'm a golfer. There's been times where like the course I've been playing on, like we play sometimes near mountains. Bears are in mountains, and I'm like, we've jokingly said in our group, like, you don't have to run the fastest, you just have to run faster than the slowest. And there's one guy in our group that's always a walker. I'm like, I'm on a golf cart. I'm getting away. So, I'm certainly not outrunning a bear. I know that much.
Bears love to chase things, Jim. So good luck on that golf cart.
Well, we'll see. I will do my best if that ever happens. All right, we'll keep working through this bracket till we get to the semifinals.
He did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have Hopper. I love Derek, but yeah, I can't.
That's also the benefit of me going first. I can absolutely say Derek.
Sure, because ultimately, then I have to make the choice. But all right, so we have Will versus 11.
11. Sorry to go out of turn.
All good, Ryan.
That's fine. I'm gonna go Will here, specifically for the Sorcerer episode, because like the moment that camera panned, and first of all, the whole fight scene, the single camera fight scene,
so good.
That's so cinematic. Loved every bit of that.
Yeah.
To then turn and see Will Byers with powers, the shit gave me chills.
Yeah,
legitimately gave me chills. Oh my god, what a moment! And for that alone, I'm going to go Will Byers.
That's fair, and I'll counterpoint that with 11's goodbye to Mike with Purple Rain in the background. Also gave me chills. Like that scene, that delivery. 11, like, again, whether you believe she died or whether she just faked it and just disappeared into the void, either way, 11 doesn't get a happy outcome here. And the delivery in that, and just knowing that 11 is either way, whether I lived or died, I at least get to say goodbye to Mike. That's why I would lean 11.
Yeah, this I know we're in the first set of brackets, but this may be one of the harder choices of the entire thing, because I mean, 11, I understand like the beginning of the show is the disappearance of Will Byers, but really, and I think Ryan, you touched on it with, for you, 11 died. Like, you don't get more main character than 11. Like, I feel like the show is at the very least equally as centered on her as it is on Will, and you don't get Will the Sorcerer without 11, and understanding like all the different layers of how the mind and all of that works. So I'm taking 11, but it is very, very difficult. And we'll go Nancy versus Hopper.
I'm going to go Nancy here.
Okay. Matt?
I almost talked myself out of voting for Nancy in the last round.
You did.
And now I'm struggling to think of a reason not to move her into the finals. But for as important as 11 was, I think Hopper and her relationship is what drives the show the most for me. It's not 11 and Mike, it's 11 and Hopper, like that dad-daughter. And maybe that's just because I have a daughter myself and I'm preparing for the angsty teen years that are going to come without a supernatural kid in the house.
Right.
That I know of.
Well, that's true. You don't know.
I think that Hopper's character development is a lot more in depth than Nancy's, because he goes from, like, obviously he went through the shit before the show even started,
right.
Like lost his wife, lost his daughter, is just like the I hate my life sheriff of a small town that is now going through it, and he turns into like this international badass sensation.
Yeah.
Like, I think that Hopper's character development is a more fun ride for me, so I'm going to go with Hopper over Nancy, begrudgingly.
Yeah, it's a tough one as well, especially because he very easily should have died after the first 3 seasons, but the arc of his character, he was the clear star of the Russia portion of season 4. The fucking scene with the sword chopping off the Demogorgon's head was just fantastic. And then the stuff in season 5, the depth there, and then even at the end, like, for him, like we very much think about like the Mike goodbye with 11. There's also a Hopper goodbye, and he has to once again come to terms with the loss of a daughter. And this time he doesn't spiral out of control. So that arc as well, and he gets a happy ending. So I will also go Hopper here. And now to finish up this region, you have the father-daughter matchup, 11 and Hopper.
It's 11. Don't even think about 11.
Right. I know that Hopper is a fan favorite, but 11 is the catalyst of the show to me. Like, I think coming out of this bracket, when I first looked at it, 11 was kind of, and I thought this was the toughest of the brackets that we have, because there's a lot of powerhouses in this bracket. But 11 to me is the hands down one that needs to move on.
Yeah, and had it gotten to me, it would have been 11 as well, like for sure. So we'll go to the Lucas region, and we will have the 1-8 matchup here. It is Lucas taking on Mayor Larry Klein. What a absolute scumbag, Mayor Larry Klein.
This is easily Lucas.
Yeah, I can't even. Again, I'll try to play devil's advocate where I can. I can't.
Yeah, can't.
Again,
yeah,
Mayor Larry Klein, and I love Carrie Ellis. Again, the actor playing the character is
so good,
phenomenal, and he made you hate him. And I'll always appreciate him for The Princess Bride. But yeah, it's Lucas.
Yeah, it would have been Lucas for me as well. Your 4-5 matchup here: Max versus Holly Wheeler.
This is tough because I really didn't care for Max all that much, like coming out of season 2, like playing the Dig Dug. I don't know what it was about her character that I didn't take, but for the remaining 3 seasons, she absolutely won me over. And Sadie Sink, just a perfect person to play that role.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Max.
All right, Matt.
I can't argue the acting chops of Sadie Sink, because she was phenomenal, but I didn't care for Max at first either, and she never really did win me over, honestly. Whereas season 5 is so heavily invested in Holly and what Holly brings to the table. And to see, again, we talked about character arcs for Nancy, for Hopper, for Holly too. Like to see her just be like the annoying little sister to being so important in bringing down Vecna in the end, and her role in that, I'm going to choose Holly here.
Yeah, and you know, to talk about character arcs, you go back to season 1, and I think it's the second or third episode. Like Holly is involved in, you know, the other world from the beginning. She goes into Will's room, and you know, the Demogorgon or whatever is coming through the wall, communicating with her. Like she's been in this from the jump. And as much as I did like Max, you know, season 2, she wasn't my favorite. Obviously, tremendous acting through season 2, or through season 3 and 4, and maybe one of the more like powerful. I mean, the scene where she's, you know, lifting up and almost dying, in the cemetery was very impactful. But then for most of season 5, she's not a part of it, you know, like she's there, but she's not. And yeah, Holly is such a strong character. I'm also going to go Holly Wheeler here.
I fucking hated that song too.
Running up the hill, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Like it was good, but man, it's just like, can she like another song? Like there has to be one other song she had to talk about.
Jim, you're a goddamn Kiss fan. You don't have room to be talking about that.
All right,
lick it up.
That's the song playing when Jim's lifted.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Lick it up. None of us will play it to save him. We're just like, this song.
You know what? It's not worth it. I don't want to hear Kiss.
Sorry, Jim.
Sorry, bud. All right, the 3-6 matchup here. Jonathan Byers taking on Callie, or 8.
Fuck 8. Jonathan Byers.
I dislike both of these characters, but Jonathan was much more important to the storyline overall than Callie. So Jonathan begrudgingly moves on.
Yeah, and I love Hopper, and he didn't trust Callie. I would have picked Jonathan here as well. He was right to not trust her. And last one in this round, Joyce Byers versus taking on the 7th seed Scott Clark, the science teacher.
Joyce Byers, absolutely hands down. I don't even have to argue for it. Yeah. Joyce Byers.
Matt?
Since I was 13, Winona Ryder has been one of my favorite actresses of all time. And I love, again, we've talked about character arcs. Scott Clark's character arc was one of the most fun rides.
Oh my God.
I think during this entire show. And like to see him be like just the science teacher who's like, oh yeah, these nerds always hang out in my lab. I guess I'll start ordering this shit for him, to like being like involved in saving the world is fantastic. But it's Joyce Byers, hands down.
And also I love the fact that, like, I mean, the Duffer Brothers, like, you don't write a show like this if you're not a bit of a nerd, like
right,
making Scott Clark like just an absolute like tail getter. Like he's just running through the town of Hawkins. So yeah, absolutely love that. But yeah, it would have been Joyce as well for me. So now we have Lucas versus Holly.
I struggled between Max and Holly. I think Holly was a great character. So here, I'm gonna. God, well, even Luke is such a great storyline though too, with his loyalty, basketball team. You know, I'm gonna go Holly before I talk myself out of her.
Okay, all right, Matt.
I actually talked myself into Lucas because of, again, like the story arc thing is going to be big for me when we progress through these brackets, and Lucas's has always been so interesting to me. And again, not my favorite of the core 4, but I think seeing Lucas go from like this shy nerd to the whole pursuit of Max to the basketball team and fighting with popularity, and then what he turned into in 5 while having Erica as like the whiny little sister that he balanced to. I have to go with Lucas just for like that story progression.
Oh man. I've literally.
All right, Jim, let me make this easy on you because Matt, you just sold me. I'm going to change my vote to Lucas.
Really? Okay.
Because like I was there and I didn't want to verbalize all of that, but the story arc is so good.
Yeah.
Cuz like
and then fighting the popularity thing, you've absolutely won me on that alone. Absolutely. Yeah.
I actually appreciate
like
you
holding
not
on to like your nerd friends when you like get that glimmer of popularity and like trying to find that balance between the two. Love it.
And like in the face of like possibly getting yourself killed by this psychopath douchebag jock, like he is like, dude, I gotta save my friends here, and I gotta save Eddie. And you know,
one of like the 4 black people in Hawkins, Indiana, too.
Right?
Like having to deal with that too.
Yeah, and but like I'm actually glad you didn't make me make the choice, because like when you had said Holly, Ryan, I'm like I at this point I'm like, okay, well. It's definitely Holly. So I wrote Holly's name down, and then like Matt says it's talking. I'm like, no, it's Lucas. And then like I was starting to cross his name out again because I'm like, no. Like I'm gonna go with my like original gut thought, and it's Holly. Because like I did think season 5 was really good, but it's like is that also a little different for me because it's the only one I've watched in real time. But I think Lucas is ultimately the right answer.
Yeah, it is.
And the journey he went through. So it is Lucas moving on. Then we have Jonathan versus Joyce. Probably not
Joyce.
as hard of a battle.
Joyce.
Yeah. Joyce easy. Yeah.
All right. So then to close out this, the Lucas region, Lucas versus Joyce.
Joyce.
All right. So
as
then,
great as everything was with Lucas.
Yeah.
Joyce. What a great character.
Oh, she's incredible.
Oh, boy.
Would that have been your choice too, Jim?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I love her character, and Winona
like
Ryder.
Joyce season 1 to me is just like the catalyst of the show. It's not the kids. Or
oh my gosh,
like Joyce, like being that mom who's raising 2 kids, working late, blaming herself because she's picking up extra shifts, like, and like at the same time dealing with her dickhead ex-husband who's not helping at all,
and also dealing with a chief of police that's like not taking her seriously because like she kind of seems like, you know, like the trash part of town. Like it's like this woman's just a raging psychopath. Like, you know, get out of my office. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with
whatever happened to the Byers family dog.
I assume that
a Demogorgon ate it.
Yeah, something, or you know, it fell into the quarry or something. You know,
There's another unanswered
what
question.
If apparently the reason that they didn't keep the dog around is because they said that dog was like a dickhead to work with. Like, is it like it was supposed to be like trained, and it would keep barking during like when they were trying to shoot, and like it wouldn't like you follow any of like the trainers, like when he's trying to get him to move or look, and they were just like, we can't deal with the dog any further. So the dog is gone. To close up the left side of the bracket, advance to the finals, we have 11 versus Joyce.
Can we wait?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's get
to the final 4.
We'll get to the final 4. All right. So I got
to marinate on that one.
So that'll be our.
Thank you for recapping. That is.
Yeah,
that is the bracket.
That'll be our semifinal matchup on the left side. It'll be 11 versus Joyce. Now we move to the Mike Wheeler.
Girl power, though. Let's go.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we go to the Mike Wheeler region. We have the number 1 seed Mike Wheeler taking on from the play-in bracket Victor Creel.
Mike was not my favorite character, of the kids, but I can't take him over Victor Creel, so I'm going to go Mike here.
All right, Matt.
If it had been Mike versus Chrissy, I would have had a harder decision to make. Ooh. But Mike is the easy answer.
Yeah,
over Victor Creel.
Yeah, and I think, you know, by the end, like even if at times he wasn't my favorite, like when you get to the end of that final season, I think there's such a sympathetic aspect to him because he really doesn't get the happy ending, like at all. Like his life has basically been
good
shattered by this. No matter how it plays out. But all right, next one, Henry Vecna won, all in the same there. Mr. What's-It, taking on Bob Newby, superhero.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Henry Vecna won Mr. What's-It here in this one. Bob was fun, but yeah, not over Henry.
Bob deserved better.
Sure did.
Bob did.
But he did not deserve to win this matchup.
No, no.
Still Vecna.
God. R.I.P. Bob, man. He absolutely deserved better. What, like, that was the first like super like gory.
That one was tough.
That one was brutal. You just see him just getting shredded.
And like Bob as a character just like came in and just no questions asked, was like, what can I do to help here?
Like he just wanted a piece of Joyce, isn't it? Like he would do
who
anything for a piece of Joyce's ass.
Right.
That's not. He was
we're talking about
motivated by
1980s Winona Ryder.
Right.
Have you guys seen? There's like a clip of David Harbour and Winona Ryder, and like they're just doing interviews, like promotional interviews, like for one of the seasons, and they were talking about like their like past, and she was like, yeah, it was like the 80s, like I wasn't even attractive back then, and he's like looks at her like, you're kidding, like what the hell are you talking about?
You were married to Johnny Depp at that point.
Right? Like, are you insane? All right, next one, the 3-6 matchup, Steve Harrington versus Billy Hargrove.
This is harder in my mind than it should have been. This should be Steve slam dunk. And I'm gonna go with Steve, but Billy deserves some respect.
Yeah, Billy's character is phenomenal.
This is where my comment about the reformed bad guys really tore me, because both of them fall into that category.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And Steve will get my vote because Steve, like, the progression of Steve is phenomenal. But Billy Hargrove sacrificed himself, whereas Steve did not. And that's why it made it tougher for me, because Steve did not make the ultimate sacrifice. I think if he had to, he would have. It never really came to that. Billy did that.
Yeah.
Like, Billy was broken through from Max, and in that mall scene, which is my favorite episode through all of the seasons, season 3's finale, and Billy plays such an integral part into why I love that episode so much. And like finally coming through for little sis, and doing the right thing. So I hate that this was the matchup, but it has to be Steve Harrington.
Yeah, it would have been Steve for me as well. But yeah, I mean, Bill and the impact of his death, I mean, carried through the remainder of the show. So it was always there.
Well, sort of, but like a week later, Max and Lucas were just making fun of Dustin and singing the.
Well, that, yeah, you know, I mean, you had to. And then what is, I mean, the ultimate battle of good versus evil in a way, the 2-7 matchup, Karen Wheeler versus Ted Wheeler.
I mean, it's going to be Karen, but both of these characters are so great.
Yes.
Snapshots of parents in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ted Wheeler dad character from the 80s. Like that is quintessential 80s father right there. You can't.
Yep.
You couldn't have acted that any better. That said, Karen's a badass. Karen wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt. Karen Wheeler wins, but Ted Wheeler was grossly misunderstood as just your quintessential 80s dad.
Yeah.
Like it was the times, man.
Dude's out there working 40 plus. He comes home. All the kids are living at his house practically, just being total dickheads, and he's just like, I want to eat my dinner and watch TV.
He's just trying to have a meal and drive some golf balls into his backyard.
His delivery, I think it's in season 1, where like Karen gets mad, like the kids are fighting and like leave the room, and then Karen gets mad, leaves the room, and his delivery of what did I do? It's just like it's probably my favorite line that he delivers in the entire because he is just like, I just want to eat dinner. Like, how did we end up? Everybody's pissed at me.
And it didn't change the entire. I mean,
nope.
Season 5, he was at the head of the table. He just wanted some bacon.
Yeah, didn't get his bacon.
Just didn't get his bacon.
Even at the graduation, Dustin's cursing his language. Like he is the good, steadfast character throughout this entire show. Yeah. So Ted, great. Was so glad because like part of me thought that he had perished. That he had perished, but Ted living his best life. All right, so we have Mike versus Henry.
Henry.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I don't dislike Mike, but he's not my favorite of the core four. He's above Will, but I think that's about it. So give me Henry /Vecna/1/Mr. What's It?
Yeah, and well, first off, I mean the acting chops are just incredible, and the voice work. Yep. But the character, I mean he is the show. I mean, really, I mean he's spectacular. Steve Harrington versus Karen Wheeler.
Steve Harrington.
All right, Matt.
Steve Harrington is the reformed villain that I'm going to pound the table for because he's just so great. You love to hate him. He's just so obnoxious in season 1. And then when that clicks, and he even like calls himself like a babysitter, and like you see how well he bonds with them, like that is the story arc that I think is one of the best in the show. So Steve Harrington.
It would have been Steve closer than it probably should have been, but it still would have ultimately been Steve. And yeah, his development over the course of the show, and like even in the finale, like when they save the kids and like Derek hugs him, and it's just like, God dang, like this guy, he's such a good guy. So yeah, I love Steve. Final one in this region, Henry versus Steve.
Jamie Bauer was so great at playing Vecna, won that character. But when you really look at it, he was only introduced in season 4. And then it was just all implied that he was behind season 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
If he had a longer stay in Hawkins and was visual, I would go Vecna Henry 1 here. Because he wasn't, I'm going to go Steve Harrington.
Ooh, okay. Matt.
I had a full argument built out for Steve Harrington in this round, but I will save it for future rounds if needed, since Ryan already voted in that direction, and I will just say Steve Harrington.
Right. Yeah. I ultimately would have gone Steve as well. Just because, yeah, it was a shorter character arc. Now, some of the greater, because this show, and I do love the character work through the entire show, and like there's sometimes where it's more about the thrilling aspect or the sci-fi aspect. This show was as much about characters as it was about all of that. And some of the monologues he delivers are like the massacre at Hawkins' lab. Like that is one of, I think it's the highest rated episode on like IMDb.
Steve versus Billy for me was the toughest draw in the whole bracket.
Dang. But yeah, ultimately it is Steve. So he.
If you ask me,
Steve, the rest of the way was easy for me. Steve versus Karen, Steve versus Vecna, hands down. But Steve versus Billy was where I struggled.
If the question was like the actor, I don't think there was a better actor in anything than Jamie Campbell Bower. I think he was the greatest actor in the entire series.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because he made that character so.
He did the voice too.
Yeah. That's the insane part.
He voiced it of Vecna. It was just such a good character.
Yeah.
It just wasn't
Yeah,
around.
so tip of the cap to him, like acting chops. Yeah,
so
100%.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. All right, let's move.
Sean Astin is Bob, though. Like
no.
second only to Rudy.
Exactly. Your lips to God's ears. All right, we move to the Dustin region, the last of our 4 regions. The number 1 seed Dustin Henderson versus the other victor from the play-in bracket, Chrissy Cunningham.
If this was Chrissy versus Mike,
right,
I pick Chrissy every time.
100%.
I just can't in good faith pick. Boy, if the reason I didn't pick Vecna is that he wasn't around for a long time, how do I go against Dustin here? It's easily Dustin.
Of the core 4, Dustin is hands down the best of the core 4 to me. And again, character arc for Dustin, and he goes through it in this show. Like, he loses Eddie, he loses his friends. If you think about it, like, Will moves away, Mike has 11, Lucas is on the basketball team, he's got Eddie who dies, and then he has Steve who kind of treats him like the annoying little brother most of the time. Like, Dustin has it the worst in all of this, and he comes out on top at the end, valedictorian of his class, gets a shout out. Like, Dustin's character is like the one that overcomes all of the odds to me, so I have to pick Dustin here, as much as I love Chrissy.
Yeah, and even in season 3, like, he goes away to camp and like comes back, and everybody's just like, you're lying about having a girlfriend, you dork. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, even his friends who care about him are like, get real, nerd. Like, so yeah, it would have been Dustin. I would have picked Dustin as well if I needed to. Yeah, just tremendous, absolutely tremendous. The 4-5 matchup in this region, Murray Bauman versus Eddie Munson.
Yeah, this one's unique. This one's two totally different characters. I don't think you have a season 4 without Eddie Munson. So I'm gonna go Eddie here. But Murray had huge important roles as well. But boy, Eddie was a lot of fun. Give me Eddie. Give me fighting demo bats. Give me Metallica.
and that was another thing with Dustin is, you know, he loses Eddie and then he delivers the news to Eddie's uncle. Like, man, that scene got me too. Matt, Murray versus Eddie.
I really like Murray a lot, but I feel like at times Murray's character was just like too over the top. Like, it was almost trying to be cartoonish to me. Whereas Eddie was kind of the counterpoint to that. Like, he wasn't trying to be something he wasn't. Whereas Murray's just like, what is this character supposed to be? Why should I give a shit about Murray? Like, if Murray had died in the end, I think that was one that we said, like, he could die. Like, who gives a shit? Right. Whereas Eddie's death was powerful. So give me Eddie Munson.
If I would have had the tiebreaker, Murray would have moved on. Murray's one of my favorite characters in this entire show.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking love Murray so much.
He's just a good guy Yuri.
Right. But I fucking, because it's so over the top. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he starts as like a kind of a conspiracy theory journalist guy, and then, you know, ends up being like,
yeah, you would say no more.
You know, like, and then ends up like he knows Russian. He befriends Alexei, and is like him watching Alexei get killed, which is gutting.
Oh, that was gutting.
That was.
And then was delivering the supplies in season 5. Like, it's still very important. But yeah, I mean, Eddie, I'm not mad Eddie advanced. This one was very difficult. I ultimately would have went Murray. Next one, 2 very different characters, Robin Buckley versus Argyle.
Robin.
I thought Ryan was going to make a more powerful argument for Argyle.
I thought so too.
Ultimately choosing Robin.
What argument would I make?
That's fair. I mean, it's Robin for me, for sure.
It is Robin. I mean,
for Robin for the next
Argyle, come and gone, one season, in and out. I think he's a hilarious character, he's comic relief in that season. And then just I assume he's still just in the woods behind Hopper's cabin.
It might be.
He smoked himself to death.
No, I think he ate a bad mushroom. Remember, he was picking the mushrooms out of the ground.
Yeah,
I actually think he just ate a poisonous mushroom and fell into the earthquake. The 2-7 matchup here: Dr. Brenner, Papa versus Sam Owens.
Yeah, Dr. Brenner, Papa. What a great character that was. It really was. It was so important to the entire story. I mean, David Reiser was fine as Sam Owens, but that's small. That's a small character compared to Papa. So Papa.
All right, Matt.
Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser.
What did I say?
David Reiser. I think he went to high school with us.
I did go to Dave Reiser did go to school. Yeah.
Paul Reiser wasn't mad about you.
Yeah, mad about you. Right. Okay. Yep. Oops.
So if Sam Owens' character had turned into Dr. K and we got that villain arc, I think we see these two seeds switched for me. But since we don't, Dr. Brenner's Papa character is what you want for this show.
Yeah.
Sam Owens turning heel, for us as wrestling fans, that would have been a slap in the face that we would have been like, holy shit,
right,
they did this to us. But they didn't.
Nope.
So it's an easy slide into the next round for Dr. Brenner to me.
Yeah, I ultimately would have went Brenner as well. And yeah, I think if there would have been more legs to Sam Owens, because he was there and then he was gone, then he was there and then he was gone, and then he popped up again. But then it was
just like, oh, I'm on your side, 11 the whole time, and then you never really got the turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, that's maybe just us as wrestling, or me as wrestling fans, because I don't know if you guys felt the same, but without that heel turn, Sam Owens is just kind of there.
Yeah, and I mean, in that choosing your own adventure thing, Ryan's mentioned, we've mentioned a few times here, choose your own adventure. You think maybe he was working for the government, maybe he was actually a scumbag all along. And if you think about it, I mean, he kind of is. He's literally Brenner's right-hand man. Everything that's happening to these kids, he's complicit in it. He is also a part of this, but maybe has a little bit of care for them. So yeah, it's Brenner. Now we go to Dustin versus Eddie.
Dustin.
Matt?
It's Dustin, yeah. And I love Eddie as a character. But
yeah.
Dustin, I mean, Eddie's character is nothing without what it does to Dustin.
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimately.
If he doesn't, without Dustin there, he's just, a high school delinquent that ends up dying. Robin versus Dr. Brenner.
I loved what Robin became in the final season. Even in the finale, then to kind of become that narrator voice. I'm going to go Robin here.
Okay. Matt?
I have a very impassioned speech about Robin, and I haven't had to use it yet, and I still don't. So Robin, I'll just say Robin and not use my speech yet.
Yeah, she. I
thought Ryan was going to try to vote Robin out against Argyle for some reason.
Matt was
really?
Matt built him up to fight for Robin.
It was
Which, by the way, I would have voted for her over Argyle. I would have voted for her here as well. So you don't have to.
I think she was. I mean, a huge saving part of the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Her and Steve in season 3 working at the ice cream shop.
Scoops Ahoy.
Pure gold.
So good.
Pure gold.
So good.
Just this, because too, you think about like you still think that even though he's already changing by this point, he's already a good guy, but like being a nerd, more on the nerdy side, like I was in broadcasting class and marching band. Like if I had a chance to like work with
nerd,
like if I had a chance to like work with a guy who was like a jock and like a douchebag after high school and just could have just ripped him for that, like that's a great character plot point of just being like, hey, you're a loser. You stink. You're failing at everything post high school because the real world is not high school, dude. Yeah, I love Robin. Last one in this region, Dustin versus Robin.
Matt, I'm sorry. It's Robin. I'd love to hear your speech. I really would. But it's Robin.
I will save my speech then, because I also am choosing Robin.
Dang. I love Dustin. I would have absolutely.
I do love Dustin.
I would have been Dustin here
of the core four.
But
I don't think any of the core four are in our final four.
They are not.
That's fine.
They are not. I really wish Dustin won. I would have loved to have known like how we would have voted Dustin versus Steve. Because like
Steve, easy for me.
I probably would have.
Yeah, I probably would have went Steve on that one.
But I love Dustin. So Dustin, you fought hard, but I would have fought for you if I and broken the tie there. So our final four is from the left side of the bracket. We have 11 versus Joyce. On the right side, we have Steve versus Robin. So we'll go, because we did left first, we'll go to there. 11 versus Joyce.
What I said about Ted being like that quintessential father, I'm going to use here for Joyce. I think she was a perfect snapshot of like a mother doing what she can, trying to be the best that she can for her kids in the 80s and struggling. And not only with like her mental health and like folks believing her, but Jim, I think you were right when you said like she was that outcast. And what just terrific. Like it was terrific casting for that role to be Joyce the whole way through the entire series. So I'm going to go Joyce over 11.
Wow, okay. Matt?
I said earlier that Winona Ryder has been one of my favorite actresses of all time. And she is. And this show added to that. But the character of 11 is so important to this show. And I feel like much more. I know Joyce gets to deliver the final blow to finally like end it all and restore Hawkins to where it needs to be. And if we had ended at that and everyone goes on their happy way and hugs and we graduate and we all live happily ever after, then Joyce probably gets my answer. But 11's arc in the finale and the ultimate sacrifice, she doesn't get the happy ending. 11 is the one that bears the brunt of the burden of everything. And again, whether you believe she dies like Ryan does, or you think she lives like Jim and I do, either way, she doesn't get that happy ending where Joyce does. And that's where it leans to 11 for me, is because she was willing to just sacrifice all of that for the betterment of her friends and the town of Hawkins and everyone that she loved and that loved her. I'm going to vote for 11.
Yeah,
and put the onus on the host.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Joyce, I love her. I love her in every season. I think every version of Joyce Byers is great, from like just the mom that wouldn't give up, and you know, and then she's starting to find some happiness with Bob, just to have that like ripped out from her again. And then, you know, she's goes on this adventure, and it's this battle with Hopper, and like you can tell like they're kind of figuring out like they care about each other, but like they don't. Neither of them like wants to get hurt again. In it's season 4, like she once again has to go through this, not giving up hope, but it's she needs her happiness with Hopper, and then in season 5, like to finally kind of give up that, because like we're all in our 40s, like we have all gone through the point where like we don't need our parents to parent us anymore. And like there comes a point in that, and I'm the youngest in my family, so like I like there was like points where it's like I kind of had to say to like my mom, I'm like, Mom, like I still need you to be my mom, but like I am an adult. Like I have to make choices on my own, things like that. So like seeing that version of it, and then another thing that got a cheer in the audience was the "you fucked with the wrong family."
What a great line!
Like that's such a great line. And then just the and I love the fact that it wasn't like 2 axe swings and his head pops off. Like she had to just let out all of it. Yeah. She had to fight to do that. Like that was badass. But man, for all of the things Matt said, like this was Eleven's show. Like this really was Eleven's show. And that, again, that ultimate sacrifice one way or the other. And maybe it's me like not wanting to be like, she deserved to not die. Like everything that has happened to this poor girl, like she deserves to at least not die and go find peace somewhere, and to know that you can live in peace. So, to me, it's 11. It was so incredibly close. Just 2 badass women. Just, absolutely fantastic. 3 out of the 4 in our semifinals.
And I was gonna say, like, hats off to Stranger Things, the writers, like badass women.
Yeah,
like, a lot of our bracket was dominated by women, and
for sure,
rightfully so. Like strong female characters throughout. Like even Karen Wheeler, who starts off season 1 is just like your stereotypical 80s mom, like successful husband, like the 2.5 kids at home, like,
right?
Could have just flirted with Billy, like
she took her ring off, man. She was ready to go
by the end of it.
And there was like a scene that I think might get lost for some people is, I think it was in that season 3 when like Nancy's like kind of just ready to give up because the douchebags at the newspaper, and Karen's like, no, like I think Karen like starts to see, like she sees that like society was probably like beginning to change, and like women could kind of could start to like make a role and see, because like Nancy is going to have opportunities that Karen never did. And she's like, you need to go do this, because she's like, she almost, I think, wants to live vicariously through her daughter. So like,
and kudos to the Duffers for like snapshotting the 80s. Like that is very accurate to the 80s. That
100%.
That was like that mom comes home and dinner should be ready for the husband who was the breadwinner when they come home. So to have that Karen Wheeler character
driving the casseroles to Joyce
character, like being that obsessed and batshit crazy that she's hanging up Christmas lights and painting letters to try to communicate and just be strong-willed, and people are being like fucking nuts, and she'd be like, I'm not. Like to have those strong-willed women in the 80s standing up on themselves. Kudos for that.
Yeah, kudos to them. All right, the other semifinal matchup, Steve Harrington, Robin Buckley, the duo we never knew we needed, but we got for 3 seasons.
Right. This is the cast of Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops Ahoy.
This is it.
Go ahead, Matt. Give us your Robin speech, because I'm going to go with Steve.
You're going with Steve. All right.
This is Steve. And I'm not doing it just because I want to hear your speech. This is Steve. Steve had the choice to walk away at any time. Steve had 0 ties to anybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Steve just wanted to get him a piece of Nancy, and ended up
that's part of it.
And just and then even after he realizes that they're not going to be a thing, he could have just pieced out at that point.
Yeah. And he does that with Robin too. And what I loved about Robin, and this was my impassioned speech for Robin, is Robin knows what a piece of shit Steve is. Like, Robin went to high school with Steve. She knew Steve the Hair Harrington. Like, she was like, I'm working with his asshole. He's such a piece of shit. And she still saw the good in him and was willing to embrace this reformed piece of shit and be like, okay, he says he's changed. Here he is, like, pretending to have a lightsaber fight with this 12-year-old who just came back from summer camp. And I'm going to trust him with the biggest secret of my life that I've never told anyone and share it with him. Trust this guy enough who may or may not still be Steve the Hair Harrington.
Right.
I'm going to tell him either way because he came on to me. I'm going to level with him. I'm going to be the upstanding person and say, hey, I appreciate you find me attractive. I don't find you attractive, but not because you aren't, but here's why, et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, just turn into like an all-around good person. Make some questionable choices because she dated Vicky, who's just awful, just terrible. But like, again, like Steve had the option all along of just being like, you know what? This doesn't affect me at all. I don't know you guys.
Right. Why am I going into the mouth of hell with you? I've never
met you. I worked with one of you and didn't like you enough, but I'll still go to bat and fight to my death for all of you. So that's why Robin to me is just such a good character.
Yeah.
But Steve Harrington is the best character in television history, in my opinion.
Whoa.
So I was ready to go to bat to get Robin to this round, but she's not advancing past Steve to me.
Okay, wow.
Steve Harrington is the guy for me. 100%.
Yeah, this one would have been really tough for me as well, because I love Steve. I mean, Steve, easily one of the best characters in this entire show, maybe the best. And like the Steve and Dustin relationship, like I think I saw, like, it was probably an AI, but like somebody had made like that you could take Steve and Dustin and make them perfect strangers. Like, I would watch a sitcom of Steve and Dustin, just their life together
easy
after Stranger Things. Like, if the Duffer Brothers want to make that happen, anybody wants to make that happen, please do.
Fan fiction.
Yeah.
I will read that book.
Yeah, somebody write it, something. Like, you want to get me to read a book? Give me that book. I'll read that book. But yeah, Robin, I mean, the development, just, I mean, the ridiculousness of like just this kind of nerdy girl who can translate Russian and like goes through this like whole deal down like in the underground, like, you know, world underneath the mall, and then like goes on like all of the journeys and I think relates to Eddie because they're kind of like from the outcast side, and but like also kind of helps like has like the buddy thing with Steve, and then like even the relationship with Nancy and Robin, like there was so much tension with those two characters, and then like what she becomes in season 5, and her being like that gay role model for Will and like helping him be strong and understand who he is
100%,
is incredible. Like and like the fact that anybody in like the quote unquote controversy of season 5 was like, oh, he had, you know, everybody knew he was gay or like this, and I'm just like, man, you guys have to put yourself in that time period. And even though like over the course of the season, over the course of this whole series, like if you look back on it when you watch the show again, it's like, oh, they've told us this from the jump, that you probably like don't always realize it's there, but like once you know, it is like, oh my gosh, like, and as Will's speech, like you're seeing that like glass breaking moment for every character who knows Will. They're like, oh my God. So like, yeah, what Robin became, but holy hell, Steve. It's Steve. It would have been. Had I needed to be the tiebreaker, it would have been Steve. Which brings us to the matchup that I don't know when looking at the tournament from the start. I don't know that I envisioned this being the finals, but it is 11 Jane versus Steve the Hair Harrington.
I'm actually not surprised with Steve. Steve to me makes sense. I think he was a great character. 11 surprised me a bit. I would have went Will, and would have, I guess, knocked her out. But I struggle picking against 11 here, because she was absolutely the most important character in the entire series. Maybe not the character I like the most, or the one with the biggest. I don't know. She was what the entire show was about. So for that, I'm going to go 11.
Okay.
/ Jane.
All right. Matt.
The 11 versus Joyce matchup, I feel like swayed this for me. Because if we had Joyce in here, then I'd probably lean Joyce. And not just because of my Winona Ryder fandom, just because of the depth of the character of Joyce. And before we close out, I would like to throw an honorable mention to whoever the chef was in season 1 that saved 11. And ultimately capped by that.
Yeah, what
Secret
I
Service
forget.
agent.
Yeah, I forget what his was his name. Benny. It was Benny's Burgers.
Something. Yeah, that sounds right. And we obviously, if you're listening to this, we couldn't include everyone in the show. But like as I'm like going through,
yeah, Benny Hammond, R.I.P. Benny Hammond.
If not for Benny, we don't have 11 even in the conversation. So shout out
short
to Benny.
Series.
Yeah, right. Game over. She's gone.
2, it's over.
She's gone, and
Will's dead. 11.
Will's dead. 11's dead.
Everyone's gone.
Seal up the lab. Move on. Hawkins.
And I understand Ryan's point. This is 11's show. Like, she's the catalyst. And for as much as I pounded the table for her making the ultimate sacrifice, I agreed to that. But I said it last round. To me, Steve Harrington is one of, if not the best characters in all of episodic television history because of that character arc that we get. He goes from being the guy that's just trying to get laid with Nancy to the ultimate babysitter. He wrecks his BMW. He takes everything in stride and he just embraces it too. It's not just that like Robin saws, oh, here's Steve the Hair Harrington like lightsaber battling with this nerd from camp. Like he knew the moves. Mm-hmm. He knew what Dustin was talking. Like he cared enough about all of those kids to not just be like, yeah, I'll hang out with them for a half hour, to be like, what are you interested in? How can I get into this too?
Right.
And like that character arc for me as the reformed bad guy to go from like Steve the Hair Harrington probably had no clue what Star Wars even was in season 1 to like knowing what a lightsaber was,
right?
And like the right moves to make and the right sounds to make. And again, Ryan, you made this point. Like at any point he could have just been like, you know what? I'm not getting laid. I can do better outside of this group.
Right.
Just like pretend none of this exists. Just be like, hey, I'm Steve Harrington and the ladies will flock to me. And he didn't. He stuck with it. And so for that, I have to go with Steve.
Oh.
Did you start that by saying you would have went Joyce over Steve?
I would have gone Joyce over Steve.
Wow. But you would not have gone Joyce over 11.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So had
it made it Joyce versus Steve.
I could have.
Okay.
Had it been a different matchup,
yes.
Like had it been 11 versus Steve and Joyce
I could make a
versus
better
Robin.
argument for Joyce over Steve than I could for 11 over Steve.
Wow.
But not Joyce over 11.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I get it. Man, this is really.
And I also just wanted to put it on the host.
Yeah, that's fair. I knew it was coming. Because like, yeah, I mean,
and I'll also say either way, totally fine. I love both of these.
I'm fine with the final 4, honestly.
Like you look at I mean, like 11 is the show, and you don't get any of this obviously without 11. And you know, and I'm like looking at Steve, and I'm like, man, just the journey of that character is, I mean, arguably it's a bigger arc than 11's, because like, I mean, 11's life is just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. Even in the end, like, even she may find peace, the way I see it, like she lives, she finds peace.
Yeah, she's resting in the gym.
But she still has tragedy, because all of these people that took her in and cared for her and became her family, she can't see again. She can't be around them again. So like, and there's still sometimes comedy elements with 11 that kind of come out of nowhere. And I think probably like the line that isn't like traditionally funny, but because of the context of it, I think is hilarious, is when in episode, is it 2 or 3 of season 5, when 11 comes into the Upside Down and like finds Hopper, and she's like, we have to find Holly, and Hopper's like, Holly Wheeler, like, what are you talking about? And he goes, yeah, Karen, and like, because of Karen and her wine. Like, that line to me is just hilarious, because like it's not traditionally funny, but just 11 delivering it like you should know what the hell I'm talking about. Karen and her wine, I think is an absolutely funny line. And there's a couple other ones throughout the show. But when I think about characters in this show, and this show that has become one of my favorite shows of all time, and one that I will revisit probably multiple times, more times than a normal human should. Like, when I, like, the first characters I think about, and like the relationship within, my favorite is Steve and Dustin. Like, those two as a pairing, I will, if these two actors end up in another movie or show together, I'll watch it because it's those two together. So for that reason, it is Steve. It is Steve the Hare Harrington is the winner here. And he's just, he's so good. He was so hateable in season 1, and he literally just becomes like the town of Hawkins' dad.
Right, like in season 1, if Steve had died, we all probably would have felt like what we
that death.
Yeah,
right.
You're like peace out, douchebag.
Fucking finally.
Yeah.
Whereas in season 5, like you guys said, you were in the theater, like when there was even
when he loses his grip, because like he's hanging on the tower, and we're like, okay, he didn't fall off, and then his hand comes off and he starts to fall, and you're like the gasp from a full movie theater, myself included. I was like, shit. Like, I was just like going into it, I'm like, do not let Steve die. Do not let Dustin die.
And if they could have let Steve die, this is the guy that doesn't have connections really elsewhere other than the friendships he's formed.
He could have just fallen off the tower.
That's an easy death, really,
it
for
was
them to
audience appeal too. Like, and that was going to be my point too. If it came to it, was like, because Ryan, you believed that 11 died.
Yeah.
Like, would you have been as upset if Steve had died versus 11?
No, I don't. I'm not even upset that 11 died.
Right.
I'm
like,
not upset that any of them died.
Would you have been upset if Steve died?
If the thought, okay, because I would have been upset if Steve had died.
Yeah.
If Steve died that early in the episode, like when he falls off.
If I can buy into Ryan's theory that 11 dies, that doesn't upset me. But the thought of Steve dying throughout the whole season was just like, I don't want this to happen.
Because they kept playing into the if you die, I die.
The thought of Steve dying hurts Dustin again, and that sucks. Like, that hurts as a fan.
Dude, that scene when he's gonna
invested in that,
use the ladder and keep going up the stairs, like that. I can't do this again. Like that scene is gutting. That brings me to tears every time.
Right, and the 11 thing, 11 was never going to be able to exist.
Yeah.
As 11 in Hawkins to ever move on. So whether she dies or she is alive just in fucking Iceland looking at waterfalls, wherever she ends up, she's not there.
That's
to be
fair.
Happy. So to me, that doesn't matter.
Way. Yeah,
she's dead or alive, but she's not there.
Yeah, Steve. Steve, I couldn't have. That would not have sat well with me if Steve would have died. That would have been bad. That would.
I get Ryan's
the only one
point,
I would have really hated. The only one I really would have hated would have been Joyce. Joyce dying would have been a problem to me.
Yeah.
For her to have sacrificed the sacrifices she has made these last years, fucking running with these kids in Europe and Hopper and all this shit, for her to think she's finally going to get maybe a happy ending and her dying.
That would have been, that would have sucked. Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was with, I liked 11 as a character more than Joyce, but I like Joyce as a character more than Steve. That's where your question was. If it's Joyce versus Steve, it's Joyce. If it's 11 versus Steve, it's 11. If it's 11 versus Joyce, it's 11.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So that anti-algebra, if A equals B, B does not always
B does not always
doesn't
equal or less than
Pythagorean theorem. You can't prove it. All that.
I mean, I was just. You could have put Joyce in the finals. Is what I guess my thought was.
Could have. She could have gotten.
Yeah.
I think the final four was great. I still would have loved Dustin to have gotten there. But I know we've gone very long here. Any closing thoughts?
Bob deserved better.
Bob deserved better. Absolutely, Bob deserved better. How about you, Ryan?
I have a T-shirt that says that.
You do. Rudy was offsides.
Rudy was offsides. Yeah, man. It's a fun show. I'm glad that we all fell in love with the show, because I don't think there's ever been a show that the three of us have ever really agreed upon that much.
Yeah, not to this level, for sure.
To this level, no.
I think Jim and I have Ted Lasso. Ryan, you haven't watched an episode yet.
It's too late.
It's not. There's a new season coming out. You can get in now.
I don't want to be that guy to be like, hey, let's talk about season 1, episode 2, and you guys are like,
you catch up to it. Season 4 comes out this summer. You can watch it then as it goes.
I was thinking this earlier, like, Ryan, if you and I had pounded the table for this to Jim, like, you have to watch this show, and like he gets 10 minutes into episode 1, it's like, this is fucking trash. This is awful. Like, what the fuck? Like, how does that impact this friendship? Like, I would have been
tough.
It would have been tough.
I would have ultimately
it would have been fine.
But
we would have been like, Jimmy, you should have given it more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I would have at least watched the whole first episode. But if after that, like, I've just been like, what the fuck did I just watch?
If, like, the first 10 minutes are very great of the show. I'd have to go back and actually rewatch.
I mean, Will's on his bike in 10 minutes.
Like, it's. I think the first 10 minutes, it's like they're playing D&D in the basement. They leave, and I think
he's like driving through the woods.
Like, I haven't done the time. I think he drives through the woods and like maybe sees the Demogorgon or the shadowy figure.
Like the disappearance of Will Byers in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like the cold open to he disappears and his bike falls down and you see the shadowy figure.
And Jim, question to you, like, if you're watching with your wife and, you know, she gets to the opening credits and it's like, you know, this isn't for me. Let's see what else is on.
Yeah, so like I think that when we started watching it, I think we watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. So like we finished the first one and I was like, are we still going? Because obviously we didn't like talk during the episode. And she was like, yeah, we'll do another one. I'm like, okay, all right, that's a good sign. Like that's a good sign. Yeah. And then like after like the first couple, like I knew she was locked in. But yeah, like had we gotten to like the end of the first one, been like, are we still going? She's like, absolutely not. I would have been like, really? Like I would have been like, but I want to keep going now.
My wife was of the camp that she did not like the finale. Like season 5 took Stranger Things out of her.
Oh,
that's how.
I'm glad you told us this after Christmas.
Join us next week while we have Matt's wife on the show to talk about it.
She would probably actually love to do that and like give the counterpoint to that. But yeah, she was not a fan of the finale. And again, we watched Walking Dead and Game of Thrones together, and but she also didn't like the end of Game of Thrones. So I don't know what.
Can we print out a bracket just for her to fill out? I'd like to see what her bracket looks like compared to what our bracket.
Yeah. You have it. You can obviously
somebody who hated then season 5, because obviously the recency bias I think changed a bit.
We did make a lot of arguments about season 5,
right? Especially with Will and things of that nature. I'd love to see what her bracket would look like, and if anybody's listening, this is the discussions with the nobody, right, Jim? Let us. I'd love to know what everybody's bracket looks like.
Absolutely, yeah. Love to hear from you. We're on obviously on our social media.
Devin, send us your bracket
on Facebook, on Twitter. Let us.
Devin, have someone like write for you though. So
that's not nice.
I don't know if he even listens to this.
I'm not sure if he does. It's not about wrestling.
We'll know soon.
We will know soon enough.
It's not about wrestling. He'll never hear it.
But yeah, no, thank you guys. And I mean, we literally wouldn't have talked for the last 2.5 hours if you guys hadn't pushed me to watch the show. And as I'm uploading it, maybe I'll go start season 1 again, and I'll just go right back. I'll go right back through the journey of this show again, because
season 3 is everyone's favorite, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
good.
Yeah,
top to bottom.
Yeah, I think 3, 1, 5, 2, 4 would be my.
4 is absolutely.
Yeah, 4 is my last.
I did not dig the Russia storyline.
Yeah, and maybe that's another reason. Part of me is like Hopper could have died, because if he dies, we don't get the Russia stuff.
It was just so much of 4.
Yeah,
so much.
It was a big part of it. Which it was definitely my wife's least favorite season, because like I said,
the Hellfire storyline
that was great,
but the Russia. Yeah, like polar opposites.
And even the California stuff, like them being in California, Jonathan being a burnout, and like Will and Eleven, like she is like struggling to kind of adjust to her dad being dead and all of that. Like that's good TV. It's the Russian prison and working in a Russian prison, and just it's like, man, okay, we get it. He's in a prison. Cool. Like,
yeah,
it was just a lot. Like if they could have just tightened that storyline up a little and just kind of gotten out of Russia in one long episode, and then just done it, I think that would have made that season better. But so thank you guys for going along the ride here. And I don't know when the next discussion will be.
Let us know how we did.
Yeah, let us know how we did. And until next time,
share your brackets.
Yeah, let us hear from you. And until next time, have a great week.